In the South China Sea, a high-stakes conflict is unfolding between the Philippines and China. This is not just a simple border disagreement, it's a complex struggle involving history, national pride, and the future of an entire region. The waters here are more than just a strategic passage, they are a lifeline for millions, a source of food, energy, and economic opportunity. At the heart of the dispute is the West Philippine Sea, a region rich in resources and strategic value. Beneath these waters lie vast reserves of oil, natural gas, and some of the world's most productive fishing grounds. Control over this area means access to vital resources and the ability to shape the future of maritime trade in Asia. For the Philippines, this is about defending sovereign rights and securing its future. The nation sees these waters as essential to its economic survival and national identity. Filipino fishermen have relied on these seas for generations, and the government views any encroachment as a direct threat to its people's livelihood and security. For China, it's about expanding influence and asserting dominance in the region. The South China Sea is a key part of Beijing's vision for regional power, and controlling it would cement China's status as a global maritime force. China's growing naval presence signals its determination to enforce its claims, regardless of international pushback. The Philippines relies on international law, specifically UNCLOS, which grants it an exclusive economic zone of 200 nautical miles. This legal framework is recognized by much of the world and is the foundation for Manila's claims. The EEZ is not just a legal term, it's a promise of security and prosperity for the Filipino people. In 2016, an international tribunal sided with Manila, affirming its rights. The ruling was a landmark moment, giving the Philippines a strong legal basis to defend its claims. Yet despite this victory, the situation on the water has only grown more tense, as China refuses to recognize the decision. China, however, claims nearly the entire South China Sea based on historical rights, marked by its sweeping 10-dash line. This claim stretches far beyond internationally recognized boundaries, covering areas that are also claimed by other Southeast Asian nations. This claim disregards international law and encroaches on the maritime zones of several Southeast Asian nations. The result is a tangled web of overlapping claims, diplomatic protests, and rising tensions that threaten regional stability. The result is a daily standoff. Filipino fishing boats face harassment, and Philippine Coast Guard vessels are routinely challenged by larger Chinese ships. These confrontations are not just about territory, they are about the right to live, work, and thrive in these contested waters. Each resupply mission to remote outposts becomes a test of resolve. Filipino Marines and sailors risk their safety to maintain a presence on isolated reefs, often under the watchful eyes of Chinese patrols. Every delivery of food, water, and fuel is a reminder of the stakes involved. The dispute has moved from diplomatic arguments to dangerous confrontations at sea. Water cannons, ramming incidents, and close encounters have become alarmingly common, raising fears of a miscalculation that could spark a wider conflict. The outcome could reshape the security landscape of the entire Indo-Pacific region. As the world watches, the choices made here will determine not just the fate of the South China Sea, but the future of peace and stability in Asia and beyond. The West Philippine Sea is more than a contested zone. It's a vast expanse of blue that holds the hopes, dreams, and future of an entire nation. Stretching across thousands of square kilometers, these waters are a source of life and livelihood for countless Filipinos. For generations, Filipino fishermen have braved its waves, casting their nets at dawn and returning with the day's catch. The sea is not just a workplace, it's a way of life, a tradition passed down from parent to child. Its waters provide food security for millions, filling markets and family tables with fresh fish. These bountiful catches sustain entire coastal communities, supporting local economies and ensuring that no one goes hungry. Beneath the surface, the West Philippine Sea holds untapped reserves of oil and natural gas, resources that could power homes, fuel industries, and offer hope for true energy independence. The promise of these riches is a beacon for a nation eager to chart its own course. For a developing nation, these resources could transform the economy, creating jobs and reducing reliance on costly imports. Harnessing the sea's potential could lift millions out of poverty and drive national progress. The West Philippine Sea is also a critical artery for global trade. Every year, trillions of dollars worth of goods pass through these waters, making them vital not just for the Philippines but for the world economy. Any disruption here would have immediate and far-reaching consequences, halting commerce and threatening livelihoods both at home and abroad. Control over these waters means influence over trade, security, and the nation's future. It's a matter of sovereignty and survival. The West Philippine Sea is woven into Filipino identity, a symbol of sovereignty, pride, and heritage. It inspires songs, stories, and a deep sense of belonging. Features like Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal have become front lines in a generational struggle where history and destiny collide. For many Filipinos, defending these waters is a defining national issue, one that unites communities, sparks protests, and shapes the country's future. It's a test of resolve against a much larger neighbor, a challenge that demands courage, unity, and unwavering determination from the Filipino people. China's claim to the South China Sea is embodied in its 10-dash line, covering nearly 90% of the area. Beijing argues this is based on centuries of historical presence, but international law, UNCLOS, rejects such sweeping claims. In 2016, an international tribunal found China's arguments had no legal basis, but Beijing dismissed the ruling. To enforce its claims, China has built and militarized artificial islands within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. These outposts now host runways, radar, and naval facilities, projecting Chinese power far from its shores. By creating new facts on the water, China aims to make its control irreversible. This strategy challenges not just the Philippines but the entire international order. China's actions threaten decades of maritime stability and the rules-based system. China employs gray zone tactics, coercion and harassment just short of open conflict. Its Coast Guard and maritime militia swarm disputed areas, block Filipino fishermen, and shadow Philippine ships. Chinese vessels use dangerous maneuvers, water cannons, and even lasers to intimidate and deter. The BRP Sierra Madre, a grounded Philippine ship on Second Thomas Shoal, has become a symbol of resistance. China relentlessly tries to block resupply missions, turning each one into a tense standoff. The goal exhausts the Philippines into abandoning its outposts and rights. This daily war of nerves aims to change the status quo without triggering a wider conflict. In 2025, tensions in the West Philippine Sea have escalated to dangerous new levels. Near Scarborough Shoal, a Chinese warship collided with a China Coast Guard vessel during a high-speed pursuit of a Philippine patrol boat. The incident, caught on video, exposed the recklessness of China's tactics and the risk of unintended escalation. Aggression has intensified. Water cannon attacks, armed boardings, and injuries to Filipino sailors are now common. A brief truce in 2024 quickly collapsed, and international responses have failed to deter Beijing. The U.S. has increased its presence, conducting freedom of navigation operations in support of the Philippines. The West Philippine Sea is now a flashpoint where a single misstep could trigger a global crisis. Despite relentless pressure and repeated provocations in the South China Sea, the Philippines is fighting back with strategy, not brute force. Instead of escalating tensions through direct confrontation, the country is carefully crafting a response that combines resilience, innovation, and international cooperation. Under President Marcos Jr., Manila has adopted a multi-pronged approach: legal action, diplomatic alliances, and military modernization. The government is working closely with its security and legal teams to ensure every move is calculated and effective, aiming to protect national interests while avoiding unnecessary escalation. Transparency is key. Releasing footage of Chinese aggression has rallied global support. By making these incidents public, the Philippines exposes the reality on the ground, drawing attention from the international community and putting diplomatic pressure on China. New maritime laws and legal cases reinforce the Philippines' claims and highlight environmental damage caused by China. These legal efforts not only strengthen the country's position, but also emphasize the importance of protecting marine ecosystems and upholding international law. The military is shifting focus to external defense, acquiring advanced missile systems and upgrading capabilities. Training exercises and new technology are helping the armed forces prepare for any potential threat, ensuring the country is ready to defend its territory. U.S. support has expanded, with greater access to Philippine bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. Joint exercises and increased cooperation with allies are boosting the Philippines' defensive posture and sending a strong message to the region. The message is clear: the Philippines is building a credible deterrent. Modernized equipment and visible shows of force demonstrate its commitment to defending its sovereignty and maintaining peace in the region. It's leveraging law, alliances, and public opinion to defend its sovereignty. By uniting regional partners and rallying domestic support, the Philippines is strengthening its position on the world stage. The fight is as much about narrative and legitimacy as it is about territory. In this complex struggle, the Philippines is determined to shape the story, assert its rights, and inspire others facing similar challenges. The Philippines has strengthened its alliance with the U.S., anchored in the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. This security guarantee raises the stakes for any Chinese aggression. Manila has also formed new security groupings with the US, Japan, and Australia, conducting joint patrols and exercises. Partnerships with other nations, Canada, France, the UK, India, create a web of support. This internationalization aims to uphold freedom of navigation and the rule of law. But the strategy is risky. China sees increased US presence as provocation, especially given the Philippines' proximity to Taiwan. The danger of miscalculation is real. A single fatal incident could trigger a wider conflict. In this volatile environment, one mistake could draw in major powers, with devastating consequences. For Filipino fishermen, the conflict is a daily struggle, threatening livelihoods and food security. The world watches, knowing the outcome will shape the future of international law and global trade. The Philippines seeks peace, not war, building alliances and defenses to negotiate from strength. Its goals: sovereignty, security, and a stable region where rules are respected. True peace means coexistence, not surrendering rights or abandoning international law. The path is perilous, but the Philippines remains steadfast. Through resolve and international solidarity, it hopes the West Philippine Sea can become a sea of peace and shared prosperity. The future of the region and the world may depend on it.